It's crazy. It's been 21 years, but I can't look at you. Not a day goes by that we had a family gathering and don't talk about you and laugh about you. So we miss you. You've got 4 beautiful grandkids. Love you. Miss you, Uncle Pete.
Paul Ortiz Jr.,
Sonia Ortiz,
Masaru Ose,
Patrick Shea O'Shea,
Robert William O'Shea,
Elsie Carolina Osario Oliva,
James R. Ostrowski,
Timothy Franklin O'Sullivan,
Jason Douglas Oswald,
Michael John Utton,
Isidro D. Otenwalder,
Michael Shung Wu,
Todd Joseph Oida,
Jesus Ovales,
Peter J. Owens Jr.,
Adianis Oyoila,
Angel M. Pabon Jr.,
Israel Padon Jr.,
Roland Pacheco,
Michael Benjamin Packer,
Diana B. Padro,
Deepa Pakala,
Jeffrey Matthew Palazzo,
Thomas Palazzo,
Richard A. Palazzolo,
Oreo Joseph Palmer,
Frank Anthony Palumbo,
Alan N. Palumbo,
Christopher Matthew Panettiere,
Dominique Lisa Pandolfo,
Jonas Martin Panic,
Paul J. Pansini,
John M. Paolillo,
Edward Joseph Papa,
Salvatore T. Papasso,
Vinud Kumar Parakat,
Marie Papalardo,
Nitin Ramesh Pankar,
Vijay Shankar Paramsafi,
and my father, James Nicholas Papa George. I love you and miss you. You're my biggest role model. I hope you're proud of who I've become, and I hope you're proud of who I will become in the future.
and my uncle, Andrew LaCourte. We love you and miss you.
Pardai Parbu,
James Wendell Parham,
Deborah Marie Harris,
George Paris,
Guy Young Park,
Philip Lacey Parker,
Michael Elaine Parks,
Robert E. Parks Jr.,
Laxmuxi Parmar,
Robert Paro,
Diane Marie Parsons,
Leobardo Lopez Pascual,
Michael J. Pascuma Jr.,
Gerald Hughes Haskins,
Horace Robert Pasananti,
Suzanne H. Passaro,
Avnish Ramanbai Patel,
Dipti Patel,
Manish Patel,
Stephen Bennett Patterson,
James Matthew Patrick,
Manuel D. Petrosino,
Bernard E. Patterson,
Clifford L. Patterson Jr.,
Sierra Marie Patty,
Robert E. Pattison,
James Robert Paul,
Patrice Paz,
Victor Hugo Paz,
Stacy Lynn Peak,
Richard Allen Perlman,
Darrell V. Pearsall Jr.,
Thomas Nicholas Pecorelli,
Thomas Pedicini,
Todd Douglas Polino,
Mike Adrian Pelletier,
Anthony G. Peluso,
Angel R. Pena,
Robert Henninger,
Richard Al Penny,
and my father, Jesus J.R. Sanchez. On this day, I think about him now more than ever because this year my son, Caden Jesus Sanchez, was born. Dad, you should have been here to hold your grandson in your hands when he was born on Father's Day. I know you would have been excited to teach him things, talk to him, spend time with him. Though my son will never meet you, I will make sure forever that he knows about you, your kindness, your compassion, how you love people, baking cakes, and love traveling. that he knows of the 2,977 souls that died on 9/11 and how brave every single soul that day was, such as Flight 93, the NYPD, FDNY, and the first responders. That he knows about the NYPD's 23 police officers and 37 Port Authority officers that despite everything that was going on that day ran towards the chaos. The bravery of every single FDNY's 343 firefighters that some of them were on their way home or having a day off, heard what was going on, turned around and went back to help. Despite knowing that the chaos was so massively too big to fathom, knowing that not one but two planes hit the towers, yet they still ran into the buildings, the only thought being the need to get everybody out and the need to save them. I will make sure that my son knows about the people that helped each other in the stairwells and the people that helped after the dust settled and made a difference. He will know that when push comes to shove, we are able to come together and rise above our differences, not as a people, but as a country. Just as this spot was once a travesty, now something beautiful. God bless this New York City, God bless the NYPD, FDNY, the first responders, the heroes of today, the heroes of back then. God bless America, and God bless the 9/11 family members. Thank you.
And my brother, Oleg Wengerchuk. Oleg worked for Washington Group International on the 91st floor of the South Tower. He was last seen by his friends at the 78th floor express elevator at 8:55. After the infamous announcement came on that the South Tower was secure, a survivor that did get on the elevator told us Oleg did not. At 9:03, Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. 3 weeks later, as we walked together along the wreckage of twisted 9/11 steel, our mama remarked how ironic that Oleg was born 2 months premature amidst heavy bombing in World War II and survived. Yet he perished a victim of terrorism 56 years later here. Oleg's kind, open, generous, and loving spirit has lived on within all of our hearts for these 21 years. But we dearly miss his magnetic personality, sense of humor, and passion for life. Oleg's wife, Oksana, will miss celebrating with him what should have been their 53rd anniversary. They were soulmates since they were 2. She remembers blowing him a kiss as he left for work that morning. Who knew it'd be the last? Oleg would be beyond proud of his daughter Andrea and her husband Brian as they are raising his amazing, soon-to-be 6 years old grandson Bryce. Bryce has his wonderful smile, twinkling eyes, and athletic ability. He loves the water and is a great swimmer, just like his grandfather. They would have been great pals. Oleg was a proud Ukrainian American. Had he survived the 9/11 terrorism, Oleg would be appalled at the acts of terrorism Ukraine is enduring to this day. Oleg was 56. He will always be 56. I am now older than my older brother ever got to be. I'm so glad my husband encouraged me to read the bios of the names I was to read today. Most of them were only in their 30s and 40s. I'll tell you about 2 of them. James Parham was only 32. He was a U.S. Marine, law enforcement officer, and then Port Authority officer. His brother's quote, I believe, was, he'd give up everything to help somebody. And then there's 35-year-old Robert Parro, a firefighter, who they said he'd be the first person there to help you. Dearest first responders and families, you have our eternal respect and gratitude. Deepest sympathies from my family to all who have lost family, friends, and fellow Americans. It's a long list, but we must remember all of them. As the inscription in the museum says, no day shall erase you from the memory of time. God bless America. Thank you for listening and caring.
Salvatore F. Pepe.
Carl Allen B. Peralta.
Robert David Peraza.
John A. Perconti, Jr.
Alejo Perez.
Angel Perez, Jr.
Angela Susan Perez.
Anthony Perez.
Ivan Antonio Perez.
Nancy E. Perez.
Barry Berenson Perkins.
Joseph John Perosino.
Edward J. Parada.
Imelda H. Perry.
Glenn C. Perry Sr.
John William Perry.
Franklin Allen Pershep.
Danny Pesci.
Michael John Pescherine.
Dabin N. Peterson.
Donald Arthur Peterson.
Jean Holy Peterson,
William Russell Peterson,
Mark James Petrocelli,
Philip Scott Petty,
Glenn Karen Pettit,
Dominic A. Pizzullo,
Kayleen Elizabeth Pizzuti,
Kevin J. Pfeiffer,
Tu On Farm,
Kenneth John Phelan Sr.,
Snay Ann Phillip,
Eugenia McCann Piantieri,
Ludwig John Picaro,
Matthew Picerno,
Joseph O. Pick,
Christopher J. Pickford,
Dennis J. Pierce,
Bernard Petronico,
Nicholas B. Pietrunti,
and my mother, Joan Donna Griffith. Mommy, we miss you so much. Life has not been the same since you've been gone. We've experienced a whole pandemic, and grief has been intense. Even reading names today feels so much deeper than it's felt before after experiencing what we felt in these past 2 years. We miss you and love you so much. We remember you, we need you. Please continue to watch over us. Thank you.
and my daughter, Maria Ramirez. Maria, I don't know when this weight in my chest is gonna go away, but it's gonna be there, I guess, until they lay me down beside you. I just wanna let you know that when you went away, you have 5 nieces and nephews, and now today you have over 16, including a great nephew. So I just want you to know that there will always be talk to you. We will talk to them about you. We will always let them know that you would have been their cool aunt, because the way you spoiled the first 2, Logan and Layla, I mean, this just hurts because they are losing so much not having you around. They are losing so much. Thank you. And thank you for all the first responders and everybody that's here today. And thank you all for always remembering. You will never be forgotten. I'm a mother, and all the mothers out there that lost, I know everybody hurts and everybody feel the pain, but there's nothing like the pain a mother has. So if you're a mother, I stand with you today. Thank you.
Theodorus Piggis,
Susan Elizabeth Pinto,
Joseph Piscadlo,
Christopher Todd Pittman,
Joshua Michael Piver,
Robert R. Plaisir III,
Zandra F. Plaisir,
Joseph Plumentalo,
John M. Pocher,
William Howard Pullman,
Lawrence Michael Paulich,
Thomas H. Polhamus,
Steve Policino,
Susan M. Polio,
Darren H. Pontel,
Joshua Ayusa Poptine,
Giovanna Porras,
Anthony Portillo,
James Edward Patorti,
Daphne Paletsis,
Richard N. Polis,
Stephen Emmanuel Polis,
Brandon Jerome Powell,
Scott Allen Powell,
Sean Edward Powell,
Antonio Dorsey Pratt,
Gregory M. Preziose,
Wanda Evelise Prince,
Vincent A. Princiota,
Kevin M. Pryor, FDNY Firefighter Squad 252,
Everett Martin Proctor III,
Carrie Beth Projan,
David Lee Prume.
Richard A. Prunty, FDNY Battalion Chief, Battalion 2.
John Foster Puckett.
Robert David Pugliese.
Edward F. Pullis.
Patricia Ann Puma.
Jack D. Punches.
Hemeth Kumar Putar.
And my father, Anthony Starita. It's hard knowing that there's things we'll never get back, like the tears we've shed, the memories we've lost, and the conversations we've never gotten to have. But I also know that all the good and all the blessings we've received over the last 21 years, like me starting my first job this past week, or your daughter getting married last month, I know that you've been smiling, you've been proud, and you've been with us every step of the way. Gone, never forgotten, and thank you for everyone who helps keep my father's legacy alive, along with all the victims. Thank you so much.
And my aunt, Joanne Rubino, who worked in the North Tower for Marshall McLennan. Last week, you would have turned 66. You were gone too soon from us. I continue to wear your cross as it serves as a sense of protection for me. We love and miss you so much, and you will never be forgotten. Special remembrance to Ronnie Kirshner, FDNY firefighter of Ladder 154, who passed away 2 weeks ago to 9/11 related illness. You're one of the first to show me the brotherhood, Ronnie, and I really thank you for your guidance. God bless the FDNY, NYPD, PAPD, our emergency service workers. God bless America.
Joseph J. Picari, Jr.
Edward R. Picon.
Christopher Quackenbush.
Lars Peter Qualden.
Lincoln Quape.
Beth Ann Quigley.
Patrick J. Guigli IV.
Michael T. Kilty.
James Francis Quinn.
Ricardo J. Quinn.
Cara Millicent Rabales.
Christopher Peter Anthony Ricaniello.
Leonard J. Ragalia.
Eugene J. Raggio.
Laura Marie Ragandis Sink.
Michael Paul Ragusa.
Peter Frank Raimondi.
Harry A. Rains.
Lisa J. Rains.
Edisham Raja.
Valsa Raju.
Edward J. Rawl.
Lucas Rambosek.
Maria Ramirez.
Harry Ramos.
Vishnu Ramsarup.
Deborah A. Ramashu.
Lorenzo E. Ramsey.
Alfred Todd Rank.
Adam David Rand.
Jonathan C. Randall.
Shreyas S. Ranganath.
Ann T. Ranson.
Faina Rappaport.
Rhonda Sue Rasmussen.
Robert A. Rasmussen.
Aminia Rasul.
R. Mark Rossweiler.
Marsha D. Ratchford.
David Allen James Rathke.
And my brother, my twin, Louis Jimenez Jr. Keep looking after my son, Jimmy, my sister, Jackie, and my mother, Rosa. We miss you.
And my aunt, Lucille Teresa King, and local 1 IUEC hero, Brother Chuck Costello. Never forget.
William Ralph Robb.
Gerard F. Rousey.
Alexei Razuvayev.
Gregory Rita.
Sarah Ann Redheffer.
Michelle Marie Reed.
Judith Ann Reese.
Donald J. Regan.
Robert M. Regan.
Thomas Michael Regan.
Christian Michael Otto Regenhard.
Howard Reich.
Greg Reedy.
James Brian Riley.
Kevin O. Riley.
Timothy E. Riley.
Joseph Reyna Jr.
Thomas Barnes Reinig.
Frank Bennett Reisman.
Joshua Scott Reese.
Karen Renda.
John Armand Rio.
Richard Cyril Rescorla.
John Thomas Resta.
Sylvia Sampio Resta.
Martha M. Reski.
David E. Reddick.
Todd H. Rubin.
Luis Clodoaldo Rivera Mir.
Eduvigus Reyes Jr.
Bruce Albert Reynolds.
John Frederick Rhodes.
Francis Savadio Riccadelli.
Rudolph N. Riccio.
Anne Marie Riccaboni.
David Harlow Rice.
Eileen Mary Rice.
Kenneth Frederick Rice III.
Cecilia E. Richard.
Vernon Allen Richard.
And my uncle, Martin Lizzle, who's lost 21 years ago today, is still felt and has been every day since. As my family and thousands of others' families know, our loved ones can be taken from us way too soon. So hug your loved ones, tell them how much you love them, and Uncle Mar, we love you, and we miss you every day.
And my beautiful sister, Deborah Lynn Gibbon. Dear Debbie, we miss you always, every day, and we'll never forget. You live on in our hearts, and you're our guardian angel. Love from all our family.
Claude Daniel Richards.
Gregory David Richards.
Michael Richards.
Venetia Orentia Richards.
Jimmy Reaches.
Alan J. Richmond.
John M. Rigo.
Frederick Charles Rimmel III.
Rose Mary Riso.
Moises N. Rivas.
Joseph R. Rivelli Jr.
Carmen Alicia Rivera.
Isaias Rivera.
Juan Williams Rivera.
Linda Ivalice Rivera.
David E. Rivers.
Joseph R. Riverso.
Paul V. Rizza.
John Frank Rizzo.
Stephen Louis Roach.
Joseph Roberto.
Leo Arthur Roberts.
Michael E. Roberts.
Michael Edward Roberts.
Donald Walter Robertson Jr.
Jeffrey Robinson.
Michelle Lee Jean Robothon.
Donald Arthur Robson.
Antonio A. Rocha.
Raymond James Rocha.
Laura Rockefeller.
John Michael Roddick.
Antonio Jose Rodriguez.
Anthony Rodriguez.
Carmen Milagros Rodriguez.
Gregory E. Rodriguez.
Marcia A. Rodriguez.
Myra Valdez Rodriguez.
Richard Rodriguez.
David Bartolo Rodriguez Vargas.
And my uncle, Brian Craig Bennett. I know you're staring down at us every day, and I know you've always been there as the constant force telling your mother, sisters, nephews, and niece to keep going, even when the road seems at its bleakest. And I've never known that fact to be more true than when I followed your footsteps on the Camino Inca. From your favorite movie, what you know you can't explain, but you can feel it. You felt it your entire life. We still know you. We still feel you.
And my father, Norberto Hernandez, and my aunt, Clarabel Villalobos Hernandez. You still live on through your family, your children, your grandchildren. We love you and we miss you so much. No, this doesn't get easier. It's just a continuation of more and more sadness and trauma, but we live through your spirit. We remember how happy and loving you guys were, and that's what your grandchildren, children, and family remember. You will forever live on. God bless everyone here. God bless NYPD, FDNY, our military, law enforcement. God bless America, because that's what we need. Blessings from God. Continue to watch over us.
Matthew Rogan.
Jean Destrahan Rogier.
Carly Rogers.
Scott William Ronner.
Keith Michael Roma.
Joseph M. Romagnolo.
Efrain Romero Sr.
Elvin Romero.
James A. Ramito.
Sean Paul Rooney.
Eric Thomas Ropito.
Aida Rosario.
Angela Rosario.
Mark H. Rosen.
Brooke David Rosenbaum.
Linda Rosenbaum.
Cheryl Lynn Rosenbaum.
Lloyd Daniel Rosenberg.
Mark Lewis Rosenberg.
Andrew Ira Rosenblum.
Joshua M. Rosenblum.
Joshua Allen Rosenthal.
Richard David Rosenthal.
Philip Martin Rosenswag.
Daniel Rossetti.
Richard Barry Ross.
Norman S. Rossenow.
Nicholas P. Rossomondo.
Michael Craig Rothberg.
Donna Marie Rothenberg.
Mark David Rothenberg.
James Michael Rue.
Nicholas Charles Alexander Rowe.
Edward V. Rowenhorst.
Judy Rowlett.
Timothy Allen Roy Sr.
Paul G. Rubeck.
Ronald J. Rubin.
Joanne Rubino.
David M. Ruddle.
And my uncle, firefighter Salvatore Benedetto Calabro. Sal, I wish you were here to see everything the family and ours have accomplished. You'd be extremely proud.
And my father, Roy Michael Wallace. Dad, we love and miss you every day. I wish you were here to experience all of life's moments with me and to watch me become the person I am today. Although I was too young to make my own memories with you, I'm forever grateful for all of the stories I've heard about you from family and friends. I love you, and I hope I'm making you proud.
Bar Joseph Royer.
Susan A. Ruggiero.
Adam K. Roter.
Gilbert Ruiz.
Robert E. Russell.
Stephen P. Russell.
Stephen Harris Roshan.
Michael Thomas Russo Sr.
Wayne Allen Russo.
William R. Ruth.
Edward Ryan.
John Joseph Ryan.
Jonathan Steve Ryan.
Matthew L. Ryan.
Tatiana Rioba.
Christina Sunga Ryuk.
Terry Sada.
Jason Elazar Sabag,
Thomas E. Zabella,
Scott H. Saber,
Charles E. Zabin,
Joseph Francis Saturnote,
Jessica Lee Sachs,
Francis John Sedocha,
Judy Elias Safi,
Brock Joel Safranoff,
Edward Saya,
John Patrick Salmon,
Marjorie Z. Salomon,
Hernando Rafael Salas,
Juan G. Salas,
Esmerlin Antonio Salcedo,
John Pepe Salerno,
Rama Sali and her unborn child,
Richard L. Salinardi, Jr.,
Wayne John Salomon,
Norbert Salomon,
Catherine Patricia Salter,
Frank G. Salvaterra,
Paul Richard Salvio,
and my brother Luis Eduardo Torres Rueda. I miss you and I love you.
and my father, Richard James Stadelberger. My father was called to serve overseas when he was a younger man, and as an older man, he was called to serve as the president of our local Little League in Lincroft, New Jersey, where they dedicated a field to his memory. He was a gentleman and a hero, and our days are a little bit less colorful without him, but we are so proud to carry his name. God bless our first responders, and God bless America.
Samuel Robert Salvo Jr.,
Carlos Alberto Samaniego,
John P. Sammartino,
James Kenneth Samuel Jr.,
Michael San Felipe,
Hugo M. Sanai,
Alva Cynthia Jeffries Sanchez,
Jacqueline Patrice Sanchez,
Jesus Sanchez,
Raymond Sanchez,
Eric M. Sand,
Stacy Lee Sanders,
Herman S. Sandler,
Jim Sands Jr.,
Aileen J. Santiago,
Kirsten Reese Santiago,
Maria Teresa Concepcion Santillan,
Susan Gail Santo,
Christopher A. Santora,
John August Santori,
Mario L. Santoro,
Rafael Humberto Santos,
Rufino C.F. Santos III,
Victor J. Sarcini,
Kalyan K. Sarkar,
Chappelle Renee Stewart Sarkar,
Paul F. Sar,
Deepka Kumar Santaluri,
Gregory Thomas Sacedo,
Susan M. Sauer,
Anthony Savas,
Vladimir Savkino,
John Michael Sparbaro,
David M. Scales,
Robert Louis Scandoli,
Michelle Scarpanetta,
Dennis Scorso,
John Albert Schwart,
John G. Scharf,
Fred C. Sheffield Jr.,
Angela Susan Scheinberg,
Scott Mitchell Schertzer,
Sean Schlelke,
Stephen Francis Schlag,
Robert A. Schlegel,
John Schitzel,
Karen Helene Schmidt,
Ian Schneider,
Thomas G. Scholes,
Frank G. Schultz Jr.,
Gerard Patrick Schrang,
Jeffrey H. Scherer,
John T. Schroeder,
Susan Lee Lespenas Schuler,
Edward K. Skunk,
Mark Evan Schumacher,
John Burkhart Schwartz,
Mark Schwartz,
Adrian Victoria Scabetta,
Raphael Skorka,
and my brother Mark Schwartz.
Harvey, Mindy, and I miss you very much. Jennifer, Andrew, and Patty also miss you and love you. And your legacy lives on in your children and beautiful grandchildren.
Special friends Sean Talon, Yvette Moreno, Joseph Anthony Ecabelli, Patricia Fagan, John Gallagher, and Susan Perez, and my brother Kevin Joseph Frawley. We miss and love you, Kevin. You're our angel. God bless the families and the victims, and God bless America.
Janice M. Scott,
Randolph Scott,
Christopher J. Scudder,
Arthur Warren Scullin,
Michael H. Seaman,
Margaret M. Seeliger,
Anthony Sagara,
Carlos Sagara,
Jason M. Sexer,
Matthew Carmen Salito,
Michael L. Selvis,
Howard Selwyn,
Larry John Senko,
Arturo Angelo Sereno,
Frankie Serrano,
Marian H. Serva,
Alana Seishinova,
Adele Christine Sessa,
Sita Nirmala Sunarine,
Karen Lynn Seymour,
Davis Deeg Grieg Senza Jr.,
Thomas Joseph Scroy,
J.S. Chantal Shah,
Khalid M. Shahid,
Mohammed Shahjahan,
Gary Shamai,
Earl Richard Shanahan,
Dan F. Shanauer,
Neil G. Shestri,
Catherine Ann Shatzoff,
Barbara A. Shaw,
Jeffrey James Shaw,
Robert John Shea Jr.,
Daniel James Shea,
Joseph Patrick Shea,
Kathleen Shearer,
Robert Michael Shearer,
Linda June Sheehan,
Hagay Sheffy,
Antoinette M. Sherman,
John Anthony Sherry,
Atsusi Shiratori,
Thomas Joseph Schubert,
Mark Shulman,
C. Wang Shum,
Alan Abraham Schwartzstein,
Claren Shelley Siegel Schwartz,
Joanna Sigmund,
Diane T. Signer,
Gregory Sikorsky,
Firefighter Stephen Gerard Siller,
David Silver,
Craig A. Silverstein,
Nasima H. Simji,
Bruce Edward Simmons,
Diane M. Simmons,
Donald D. Simmons,
George W. Simmons,
Arthur Simon.
Kenneth Allen Simon.
It's an honor to read all these 30 names today, but especially to remember my brother from Engine 201 in Brooklyn, New York, firefighter John Shard. I miss you and love you every day, and your strength continues to help me every day. I love you, and I miss you.
And my uncle, Donald Joseph DeFranco. My uncle was the broadcast engineer for Channel 7, and one of his main responsibilities was keeping the strong signal for Channel 7. And he continues to do that through our family by keeping us strong every day for the past 21 years that we did not have him. We love and we miss you, Uncle Don, and please continue to watch over our family.
Michael J. Simon,
Paul Joseph Simon,
Marianne LaQuarrie Simone,
Barry Simowitz,
Jane Louise Simkin,
Jeff Lyle Simpson,
Cheryl D. Sincock,
Kamlade Kami Singh,
Roshan Ramesh Singh,
Thomas E. Sinton III,
Peter A. Syracuse,
Muriel F. Skiskopoulos,
Joseph Michael Sisolak,
John P. Scala,
Francis Joseph Skidmore Jr.,
Toyana Corliss Skinner,
Paul Albert Skrizapek,
Christopher Paul Slattery,
Vincent Robert Slavin,
Robert F. Sluwak,
Paul Kenneth Sloan,
Stanley S. Smagala Jr.,
Wendy L. Small,
Greg H. Smallwood,
Catherine T. Smith,
Daniel Lawrence Smith,
Gary F. Smith,
George Eric Smith,
Heather Lee Smith.
James Gregory Smith.
Jeffrey R. Smith.
Joyce Patricia Smith.
Carl T. Smith Sr.
Kevin Joseph Smith.
Leon Smith Jr.
Moira Ann Smith.
Monica Rodriguez Smith.
Rosemary A. Smith.
Bonnie Shehadeh Smithwick.
Rochelle Monique Snell.
Christine Ann Snyder.
Diane Bullis Snyder.
Leonard J. Snyder.
Astrid
Jr.
Elizabeth Sohan.
Sushil S. Solanki.
Ruben Solares.
Naomi Leah Solomon.
Daniel W. Song.
Mari Ray Sopper.
Michael Charles Soresi.
Fabian Soto.
Timothy Patrick Sulas.
Gregory Thomas Spagnoletti.
Donald F. Spaminato Jr.
Thomas Sparescio.
John Anthony Spataro.
Robert W. Spare Jr.
Robert Spiceman.
Maynard S. Spence Jr.
George Edward Spencer III.
And to our sister Celeste Torres Victoria. Celeste was a model, not only in fashion and style, but because of who she was and what she stood for. My brother Alito in Spain brought to my attention that her name, Celeste Torres, means heavenly towers or sky towers. And like a heavenly tower, she was tall, slim, elegant, intelligent, with an amazing personality. Celeste attended NYU and graduated cum laude in journalism. As a woman of the media, she used that platform to advocate for justice, children, and women's rights. Celeste understood that education played a major role in her success and modeled that same principle in her daughter, Jasmine Victoria. Jasmine graduated from Duke University on a full academic scholarship, and recently, internationally, she completed a dual master's degree, one from Oxford University in England and HEC in Paris, to carry on her mother's legacy. We will always cherish Celeste's beautiful spirit and the wonderful memories we keep deeply rooted in our hearts. And finally, our deep appreciation and gratitude to the past and present honorable presidents, vice presidents, Congress, governors, mayors, other state, federal, and city officials, agencies, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, the volunteers, and to everyone responsible for providing the 9/11 families with support, and for this magnificent venue to pay tribute and honor to our loved ones. You bring life to Celeste and to all those who perished that day. Because of you, they will be remembered in history, never to be lost and never to be forgotten. We are truly grateful. Thank you and God bless you.
Very good. And my uncle, the coolest uncle a girl could have, David M. Ruddle. I'm very grateful for all of the time that we got to spend together. I know that you're here in spirit. We love and miss you very much.
Robert Andrew Spencer.
Mary Rubino Sperando.
Frank Spinelli.
William E. Spitz.
Joseph Patrick Spohr Jr.
Klaus Johann Sprachhelm.
Saranya Sinuan,
Fitzroy St. Rose,
Michael F. Stabile,
Lawrence T. Stack,
Timothy M. Stackpole,
Richard James Stadelberger,
Eric Adams Stallman,
Gregory Stake,
Alexandru Liviu Stan,
Karina Stan,
Mary Dominica Stanley,
Anthony Starita,
Jeffrey Stark,
Derek James Statikovitz,
Patricia J. Statz,
Craig William Staub,
William V. Steckman,
Eric Thomas Steen,
William R. Steiner,
Alexander Robin Steinman,
Edna L. Stevens,
Andrew Steriopoulos,
Andrew J. Stern,
Norma Lang Sturley,
Martha Jane Stevens,
Michael James Stewart,
Richard Stewart Jr.,
Sanford M. Stoller,
Douglas Joel Stone,
Lonnie J. Stone,
Jimmy Neville Story,
Timothy Stout,
Thomas Strata,
James J. Strain Jr.,
Edward W. Straub,
George J. Strauss Jr.,
Edward Thomas Strauss,
Stephen R. Strauss,
Larry L. Strickland,
Stephen F. Strobert,
Walwyn Wellington Stewart Jr.,
Benjamin Suarez,
David Scott Suarez,
Ramon Suarez,
Dino Xavier Suarez Ramirez,
Yoichi Sumiyama Sujikama,
William Christopher Sugra,
Danielle Thomas Sir,
David Mark Sullins,
Christopher P. Sullivan,
Patrick Sullivan,
Thomas G. Sullivan,
Hilario Soriano Somaya Jr.,
Joseph Suozo,
and once again, my brother, Robert T. Bobby Hughes Jr. You and your beautiful smile are missed so much. These past few years, Bobby, our family knows you have been watching over all of us. You were the best brother and son our family could have asked for. Your memory and presence is forever in our hearts and never leaves our thoughts. We love and miss you so much. God bless.
and my brother, Dennis Michael Edwards. As in the words of Macklemore, I heard that you died twice. Once when they put you in the grave, and the second time when the last person mentions your name. We will never stop mentioning your names. And I cried.
Colleen M. Sapinski,
Robert Sutcliffe,
Celine Stutter,
Claudia Suzette Sutton,
John Francis Swain,
Christine M. Swerson,
Brian David Sweeney,
Brian Edward Sweeney,
Madeline Amy Sweeney,
Kenneth J. Swenson,
Thomas F. Swift,
Derek Ogilvy Sword,
Kevin Thomas Sosik,
Gina Steinberg,
Norbert P. Sirkowski,
Harry Tabak,
Joanne C. Tebeck,
Norma C. Tadai,
Michael Tadonia,
Kaishiro Takahashi,
KG Takahashi,
Phyllis Gail Talbot,
Robert R. Tahami,
John Tagnani,
Sean Patrick Talon,
Paul Talty,
Marita Tam,
Rachel Tamares,
Hector Rogan Tamayo,
Michael Andrew Tamuccio,
Kenichiro Tanaka,
Rondell Sherry Tankard,
Michael Anthony Tanner,
Dennis Gerard Taormina Jr.,
Kenneth Joseph Tarantino,
Alan Tarasevich,
Michael C. Turow,
Ronald Tartaro,
Deborah Tavalarella,
Daryl Anthony Taylor,
Donnie Brooks Taylor,
Hilda E. Taylor,
Kip P. Taylor,
Leonard E. Taylor,
Larissa Salon Taylor,
Michael Morgan Taylor.
Sandra C. Taylor.
Sandra Dawn Teague.
Carl W. Teepee.
Paul A. Techmeyer.
Yeshafant Mashwar Tabi.
Anthony Tempesta.
Dorothy Pearl Temple.
Stanley L. Temple.
David Gushoff Peter Tangelin.
Brian John Terenzi.
Lisa Marie Terry.
Gumati Takardine.
Harshad Sham Thadi.
Michael Theodoratus.
And my aunt, Colleen Ann Delacre, whose spirit lives on through her family, through my Uncle Jay's unending devotion to his children, through Amanda's adventurous spirit, which allows her talents to be shared all over the world, and through Michael's passion for helping and his gift for always showing others how loved they are. Aunt Colleen, we love and miss you.
And my beautiful mother, Deepika Kumar Sadaluri. You are missed every single day by me, my dad, and all your family and friends. We love you, and I can't wait to see you again one day.
Okay. Thomas F. Therakoff Jr.,
Leslie Ann Thomas.
Brian Thomas Thompson,
Clive Ian Thompson.
Glenn Thompson,
Nigel Bruce Thompson.
Perry A. Thompson,
Vanava Alexi Thompson.
William H. Thompson,
Eric Raymond Thorpe.
Nicola Angela Thorpe,
Tamara C. Thurman.
Sal Edward Thierry Jr.,
John Patrick Tierney.
Mary Ellen Teesey,
William Randolph Tista.
Kenneth T. Jen,
Stephen Edward Ty.
Scott Charles Times,
Michael E. Tinley.
Jennifer M. Tino,
Robert Frank Tipaldi.
John James Tipping II,
David Tirado.
Hector Louis Tirado Jr.,
Michelle Lee Totolo.
Alicia Nicole Titus,
John J. Tobin.
Richard J. Tudisco,
Otis V. Tolbert.
Valdemar Thomaset,
Stephen Kevin Thompson.
Thomas Tung,
Doris Torres.
Luis Eduardo Torres,
Amy Elizabeth Toyan.
Christopher Michael Triana,
Daniel Patrick Trant.
Abdul Karim Chikori,
Glenn J. Travers Sr.
Walter Philip Travis,
Felicia Yvette Trailer Bass.
James Anthony Tratini,
Mary Barbara Trentini.
Lisa L. Tortorella,
Karamo Baba Trera.
Michael Angela Trinidad,
Francis Joseph Trombino.
Gregory James Trust,
Willie Q. Troy.
William P. Tsalpas Jr.,
Janetta Valentinova Soy.
Michael Patrick Tucker,
Lance Richard Tumulty.
Ching Ping Tong,
Simon James Turner.
Donald Joseph Chuzo,
Robert T. Twomey.
Jennifer Lynn Tismus,
John G. Yutzifer.
and to my brother Rudolph and Riccio. Rudolph, we love you, we miss you, God bless you. Keep us all safe. Thank you.
And my grandfather, Horace Robert Passananti. I wish I could have met you and would love to have played golf together with Dad.
I know we would have so much fun. I think about you every day and love you so much.
Tyler Victor Ugalin.
Michael A. Uliano.
Jonathan J. Uman.
Anil Shivhari Umarka.
Alan V. Upton.
Diane Marie Urban.
John Damian Bacascio.
Bradley Hodges Vedas.
William Valcarcel.
Felix Antonio Vale.
Ivan Vale.
Benito Valentini.
Santos Valentin Jr.
Carlton Francis Valvo II.
Kendiala Van Skrinska.
Erica H. Van Acker.
Kenneth W. V. Alkin.
Firefighter R. Bruce Van Hine.
Danielle Ann Van Lair.
Edward Raymond Vanacore.
John Charles Vandiver.
Frederick T. Varachi.
Gopalas Krishnan Vardan.
David Vargas.
Scott C. Fasel.
Aziel Ishmael Vasquez.
Santos Vasquez.
Archangel Vasquez.
Sankara Satri Valamori.
Peter Vega.
Lawrence G. Valing.
Jorge Velasquez.
David Vieira.
Anthony Mark Ventura.
Christopher James Villalonga.
Loretta Ann Vero.
Robert Anthony Vicaro.
Matthew Gilbert Viana.
Joanna Vidal.
Celeste Torres Victoria.
Joseph Vincent Vigiano.
John T. Vigiano II.
Joseph Barry Villardo.
Frank J. Vignola Jr.
Sergio Gabriel Villanueva.
Clarabelle Villalobos Hernandez.
Melissa Renee Vincent.
Chantel Vincelli.
Lawrence Virgilio.
Francine Ann Virgilio.
Joshua S. Vitali.
Joseph Gerard Viciano.
Lynette Vasquez.
Maria Percoco Vola.
Alfred Antone Vacosa.
Garo H. Vasquerigian.
Karen J. Wagner.
Gregory Kamal Bruno Wackler.
And my father, Edward Frank Pullis. Dad, I want to let you know I miss you a lot. I love you a lot. I joined the Navy because of you and for everyone that passed away that day. I was in the Navy 5.5 years, and I just got out last week. And I want to thank my dad for watching me, keeping me safe through my 3 deployments. And every time I would go outside on the flight deck, I would look up in the sky and see the stars, and I would talk to my father and Jesus, and I would always see a shooting star, and I know he was there watching me. So I want to thank you for watching me, Dad, and I love you, and God bless America.
One more name, Mary Alice Wallstrom, and my sisters Susan Hui and Jennifer Wong. 2 words resonated throughout this country after the attack: never forget. Unfortunately, 21 years later, it seems like a lot of the country has forgotten 9/11 Tribute Museum has closed permanently. We lost close to 3,000 people that one day 21 years ago. We've lost an additional 4,000 more since that day, and we're going to be losing more. The world may forget, but we, the family of those who perished, we will never forget. Thank you.
Honor Elizabeth Wynio.
Gabriella Sylvina Weissman.
Wendy Alice Rosario Wakeford.
Courtney Wainsworth Walcott.
Victor Wald.
Kenneth E. Waldy.
Benjamin James Walker.
Glenn Wall.
Mitchell Scott Wallace.
Peter Guider Wallace.
Robert Francis Wallace.
Roy Michael Wallace.
Jean Marie Wallendorf.
Matthew Lake Wallens.
Meta L. Waller.
John Wallace Jr.
Barbara P. Walsh.
Jim Walsh.
Jeffrey P. Walsh.
Ching Wang.
Weibing Wang.
Michael Warcholo.
Stephen Gordon Ward.
Timothy Ray Ward.
James A. Waring.
Brian G. Warner.
Derek Christopher Washington.
Charles Waters.
James Thomas Waters Jr.
Patrick J. Waters.
Kenneth Thomas Watson.
Michael Henry Way.
Todd Christopher Weaver.
Walter Edward Weaver.
Nathaniel Webb.
Dinah Webster.
William Michael Weems.
Joanne Flora Weil.
Michael Thomas Weinberg.
Stephen Weinberg.
Scott Jeffrey Weingard.
Stephen George Weinstein.
Simon Weiser.
David M. Weiss.
David Thomas Weiss.
Chin Sunpak Wells.
Vincent Michael Wells.
Deborah Jacobs Welsh.
Timothy Matthew Welty.
Christian Hans Rudolph Wemmers.
Sue Wee Wen.
John Joseph Winkus.
Oleg Wengerchuk.
Peter M. West.
Whitfield West Jr.
Meredith Lynn Whalen.
Eugene Michael Whalen.
Adam S. White.
Edward James White III.
James Patrick White.
And my sister, Siobhan Alicia Mentis. Anniversaries take place once a year, but we think of you each and every day. Today I was born, I became your sister. Today you died, you became my guardian angel. Days, weeks, months, and years have passed, but our memories of you stand still. You're sadly missed by our loving mom, Myrtle Bazil, sister Sharon Basil, brothers Gordon Basil, your nephews and nieces, other relatives, especially your niece, Juanita Williams, who you were an awesome caregiver until your untimely demise. 21 years later, and I still have the shoes you were looking for that dreadful morning sitting in my closet. God bless America. God bless her fallen heroes. And God bless all heroes battling illnesses caused by September 11. We love you, we miss you, and we'll never forgive you. We'll never forget you.
And my wonderful, witty cousin, Sergeant Robert Michael Coffers of the Port Authority Police. You have 2 beautiful grandsons now. Your mom and dad are up there with you now. We love and miss you, Bob, till we meet again.
John Sylvester White,
Kenneth Wilburn White, Jr.,
Leonard Anthony White,
Melissa Y. White,
Maudlin A. White,
Sandra L. White,
Wayne White,
Leanne Marie Whiteside,
Mark P. Whitford,
Leslie A. Whittington,
Michael T. Woolley,
Mary Lenz Wyman,
Jeffrey David Weiner,
William J. Wick,
Allison Marie Wildman,
Glenn E. Wilkinson,
Ernest M. Wilshire,
John Charles Willett,
Brian Patrick Williams,
Candace Lee Williams,
Crossley Richard Williams, Jr.,
David J. Williams,
David Lucian Williams,
Debbie L. Williams,
Dwayne Williams,
Kevin Michael Williams,
Louis Anthony Williams,
Louis Calvin Williams III,
John P. Williamson,
Donna Ann Wilson,
William Eben Wilson,
David Harold Winton,
Glenn J. Winnook,
Thomas Francis Wise,
Alan L. Wisniewski,
Frank Paul Wisniewski,
David Wisall,
Sigrid Charlotte Wiswy,
Michael R. Widenstein,
Christopher W. Wodencheck,
Martin Phillips Wolforth,
Catherine Susan Wolf,
Jennifer Yen Wong,
Suchung Steve Wong,
Yinping Wong,
Yuk Ping Wong,
Brent James Woodall,
James John Woods,
Marvin Roger Woods,
Patrick J. Woods,
Richard Heron Woodwell,
David Terrence Woolley,
John Bentley Works,
Martin Michael Wortley,
Rodney James Wotton,
William Wren retired,
John W. Wright Jr.,
Neil Robin Wright,
Sandra Lee Wright,
Jupiter Yambem,
and my brother, first responder, who was an Army medic. He was a volunteer firefighter and a court officer, Thomas Edward Juergens. You are a hero, not because of the way you died, but because of the way you lived. We all love you. Let's go, Yankees.
And my uncle Salvatore P. Lopes and cousin Vincent Francis DeFazio. Sal and Vinny, we miss you every day, and we both love you.
John D. Yamnicki Sr., Suresh Yanamandala, Vicky Yancey, Shuyin Yang, Matthew David Yarno, Myrna Yaskoka, Shakila Yasmin, Olabasi Shadi Layini Yi, Kevin W. Yoakum, Edward P. York, Suzanne Martha Humans,
Raymond R. York,
Donald MacArthur Young,
Barrington Leroy Young Jr.,
Jacqueline Young,
Edmund G. Young Jr.,
Elkin Ewan,
Lisa L. Young,
Adele Agabi Zachary,
Joseph C. Zaccoli,
Edwin J. Zambrana Jr.,
Arkady Saltzman,
Mark Zangrilli,
Robert Allen Zampieri,
Ira Zaslow,
Christopher R. Zarba Jr.,
Abraham J. Zelmanowitz,
Kenneth Albert Zellman,
Shay Sheng,
Martin Morales Zimbual Tekatel,
J. Yao Justin Shao,
Mark Scott Zeppelin,
Evelyn Zeminski,
Yuguang Zhang,
Charles Allen Zion,
Michael Joseph Zinzi,
Salvatore J. Sizer,
Julie Lynn Zipper,
Joseph J. Zucala,
Prokoipus Paul Zulis,
Igor Zuckelman,
Andrew Stephen Zucker,
and my cousin Stephen J. Fiorelli. Steve, you are loved and missed dearly.
and my father, Wilder Alfredo Gomez. The last time I stood here, I was 8 years old. I'm 28 now, but the loss still feels as raw as ever. I miss my father every single day and mourn the memories that could have been, the dances we could have had, the trips we could have taken, the time I could have got to know him. I see all of you in our collective pain and can't help but think about the other families who day after day, hour after hour, lose family, friends, everything to violence perpetrated by people who are given impunity by this country's system in a way we never fathomed allowing with our tragedy. We should never forget those monumental losses of life like we never forget this loss. We ought to remember the teachers and children who simply went to school one day and never returned to their families' arms. We ought to remember the families torn apart as we put children right around the same age my mother arrived in this country, around the same age I lost my father in cages at the southern border for merely seeking a better life. We ought to remember the people of color who are continuously criminalized without reason, their families and their lives stolen from them too soon. We ought to put as much money to education, mental health, and unhoused population as we do to police. Instead, we continue to disregard, marginalize, and criminalize our most vulnerable populations. We put profit over people, authoritarianism over democracy. My father came here to escape violence in Colombia, to seek safety and freedom like many before him, to have the best means of providing for his family. He worked an incredible amount to accomplish this up until his very last day when he was called in to fill for a coworker at Windows on the World. I sincerely hope one day that the dream my father came to pursue here becomes real. I'll work until my very last day doing everything I can to help that dream become real. But like all progress, it takes a village. I have deep confidence that love will always prevail, much like it did on 9/11 when our family and friends became heroes in the face of hate. We all have so much more in common than not. My condolences to all of you. This is something you never really get over. It's a weight that never leaves your chest, but we can always rise from the ashes. Te amo mucho, and I hope I make you proud, Dad. Thank you.
Tara McLeod Gray,
Wade B. Green,
John Joseph Murray,
Ronald J. Volk,
Karen J. Wagner. And this is in memory of my cousin Steve Belson, who first worked as a lifeguard in Rockaway Beach, later joined the fire department, Engine 1, Ladder 24. They called him Mr. Ladder 24. They all had respect for him. He had respect for all of them. And I also want to thank some people out in Santa Rosa, California, Mr. Firefighter Don Ritchie, who generously donated with Captain Terry Morgan of CAL FIRE, a beautiful painting that's going to be delivered to Engine 1, Ladder 24 today in memory of Steve Belson. Thank you, everybody, not only in Santa Rosa, California, but around the world. Thank you for supporting the firefighters, the police, the emergency responders. God bless America.
And my father, Edward Frank Polis, he worked for Aon on the 101st floor. He was the safety officer. He made sure everyone got out of the floor before he could start ascending down. So I'm just saying, you know, he died a hero, and God bless him. I love you and miss you.
Gotta bring the bell back.
Ha ha!